explaining why AMR is a threat, detailing on the statistics offered by WHO and other organizations. Hello, and welcome back to the AMR video series. In the last video, we talked about the various factors that have led to the rise in the threat of antimicrobial resistance and how our actions could contribute to AMR. If you are yet to watch it, please spare a few minutes and watch. We promise that you will learn so much. So far, we have mentioned severally in our previous videos the detrimental effects of antimicrobial resistance. However, in this video, we share with you the actual statistics and figures calculated scientifically by credible organizations and institutions so that you can have a deeper understanding of why antimicrobial resistance is a really big threat. It is a pandemic that is slowly developing and could turn out catastrophic if we do not take appropriate action. To begin with, the World Health Organization has declared antimicrobial resistance as one of the top 10 global threats that we are facing as humanity. It is described as a global health and development threat that requires urgent multisectoral action to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. The detrimental impact of antimicrobial resistance, as we shall see later, is significant. If we do not do enough, death, disability, prolonged illnesses resulting from longer hospital stays, the need for more expensive medicines, and financial challenges for those affected will be severe. Let us start off with the specifics. Currently, the World Health Organization reports that at least 700,000 people die from drug-resistant diseases. Now, this includes 230,000 who die from multi-drug resistant tuberculosis alone. This is a very large number, and the negative impact is unimaginable. The United Nations Ad Hoc Interagency Coordinating Group on Antimicrobial Resistance released a report warning that if no action is taken, drug-resistant infections could cause 10 million deaths each year by 2050. 10 million, this is horrific. Imagine the families that would be disrupted, the burden left to the dependents, the social relationships severed, not forgetting the economic implications. The worst part is that due to globalization, the spread of these drug-resistant infections will be escalated. Just like we have seen in COVID-19, we are likely to see the numbers rise. We are not predicting an Armageddon, but the truth is, this will happen if we do not take action appropriately. AMR also poses as a risk to various treatment procedures. For example, patients undergoing chemotherapy. Because chemotherapy weakens our body's immune systems, the patients become vulnerable to infections. What happens when the antibiotics meant to protect these patients from infections can no longer do so? Chemotherapy to cancer patients will become a challenge. Antibiotics are also essential to decrease the risk of any infection after surgery. Development of resistance will thus compromise effective surgeries such as C-sections, hip replacements, among others. Performing organ transplants will also become a challenge. These are just a few examples. There are so many other treatment procedures that could be affected. On the economic perspective, the United Nations Ad Hoc Interagency Coordinating Group also has warned that by 2030, 24 million people would be pushed to extreme poverty. Out of this, 18.7 million are estimated to be living in low-income countries. We are already starting to feel the heat. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, antimicrobial resistance had a $20 billion surplus in direct healthcare costs in the United States alone. This does not include the $35 billion lost in productivity annually. This is just in the United States alone. Imagine the cost implications at a global scale. Recent research by World Bank indicates that antimicrobial resistance will elevate the rate of poverty and impact low-income countries more compared to the rest of the world. The global GDP could decrease by approximately 1% with a loss of about 5 to 7% in developing countries by 2050. This translates to around $100 to $210 trillion. Not billion, guys, but trillion. Multi-drug resistant TB alone could cost the world around $16.7 trillion by 2050. Antimicrobial resistance also has a major influence on labor through the loss of productivity caused by sickness and death. Developing countries will be more affected since the economy relies more on labor income, widening the already existing gap. The World Bank also reports that exports could reduce significantly. In agriculture, there will be a decreased production and livestock trade. This will be driven by ineffective treatments on the animals due to resistance. It will result in elevated prices of products due to the scarcity of protein sources such as eggs, milk, and meat. This could disrupt food security and possibly translate to starvation. The future is grim if we do not act. We need to take action to prevent all this from becoming a reality. You too can take action in your own small way. You can begin by sharing this video with your friends and colleagues as well as on social media. It will help us inform more people on the looming threat. Remember, these are not far-fetched figures to scare us, but scientific predictions contacted by credible organizations.